Thank you for joining the Author Spotlight Show. My name is Gail Watson, founder and CEO of Women Speakers Association and WSA Publishing, a place that is dedicated to sharing and promoting the gifted messages of women in over 120 countries. When we open our hearts to the world and lead with empathy, we are unstoppable. And we love to shine the spotlight on inspiring women who are transforming the lives of those around them through loving dedication and compassion. By sharing her struggles and challenges, these brave women reimagine the boundaries of what is possible and come to the conclusion that the potential of their influence in this world is limitless. And today I have the proud honor of introducing to you #1 international best-selling author and co-author of Voices of the 21st Century Conscious Caring Women Who Make a Difference. Please welcome to our show, Brooke Schiller.
Hello.
How's it going, Brooke?
It's going great, Gail. Thanks. I'm glad.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, looking over your story, I was quite inspired and could really relate to it. And first of all, I just want to shout out to your title, which is amazing. And the ladder is broken. I know you share a personal story in there that had a significant impact in both your professional life and your personal life. So if you could give us some insight as to what inspired you to share your story.
Yes, thank you. Yes, the ladder is broken and how I reimagined my leadership impact. My career has been in the learning and organizational development space, focused on leadership. But about 15 years ago, I found myself at the top of what I thought was my career aspirational ladder, only to find myself miserable there. What I thought I had wanted and been striving for really was someone else's view of what success looked like. I thought it was mine. I had kind of adopted it, only to find that when I got there, the view wasn't what I thought. It was a little elusive and unsatisfying. So I took a step out on my own, but only after a lot of strife. One of the things I learned from that situation is following your dreams, my values, what mattered to me, not chasing someone else's. So I took a step out on my own and started my own consulting practice. And I really have seen that my growth has mirrored the growth of my clients and participants in my workshop over the years. The skills that were emerging for them and in the classroom again and again were ones that I was finding were true for me. So that's a little bit of the journey I've been on so far.
I like your story because it's so relatable to anyone who has been in corporate. We seem to lose ourselves and our identity is held by a company or someone else. It's not, we don't own our identity. So when you wrote this story, and I love that the impact that it's having on others, when you, as a reader reading this story, what would you like the reader to take away?
Well, first and foremost, I want the readers to put themselves first and foremost when they think about career and leadership. No one else deems you a leader. No title or tenure creates a leader. You already are. So how do you find and access those skills that are already inside you and optimize them? And then as you're going through this journey, because the journey is long, really being clear about your values and your view of success. And with that comes setting some boundaries. They could be simple personal boundaries, they could be more specific, but when you're really grounded in your values, you know what's right for you, and you make choices based on that, not on someone else's map or view of what should or shouldn't be done.
I like that you're bringing up a lot of thoughts. some perhaps some corporate PTSD, I'm not sure, but
well, I can relate to that because that I still feel that today. And I not only am helping myself through that, but my goal is to help others who are in corporate and want to stay there. I'm not saying run out of corporate, but really be clear about what you want your journey to look like. That can be inside corporate, that could be outside, that can be in your community, that could be in lots of different ways. But up is not the only way. And what's laid out for us in formal, more traditional systems inside corporations maybe not isn't doing us much of a service like we thought it was.
Right. So I know that you just shared that when you went from corporate, you went out on your own. So how is this all showing up in your life today?
Yes, so I started my own consulting practice, and in the beginning, this is how I learned about values and boundaries. In the beginning, as a solopreneur, I was saying yes to everything, like because I thought, oh, I need a paycheck, right? And it helped me figure out what I really enjoyed about my work and what I didn't, and how to make those important choices. So that's where I really got clear about my values and used that as my guidepost. So that was a key learning. And then as I've spent the last 15 years in classrooms, whether they are virtual or live, I've started to see, as I've said, the emergence of the same 7 skills over and over again. It starts with self-awareness, and I see those light bulbs going off every day. Resilience. No evidence of that has ever been more true than the last couple of years. And how we've bounced back and we've been resilient. Being curious, and using that to really inspect our thinking. We've been faced with so many yes or no, right or wrong, diametrically opposed options. And I just don't think that that's true. So how do we really think in a more agile way? And how do we inspire ourselves and motivate others? And how do we engage in dialogue and take initiative, but also be accountable for that initiative? It's the same things again and again. And I have this habit every time I am in a classroom or lead a workshop, I write down the skills that rise up. And that's what emerged over 15 years of my sort of informal data capturing. And so as that's been happening, I've also noticed that leadership models are sort of stuck in the 20th century, right? We're still saying people need to be on a hierarchy, or there's certain leadership programs for different levels. And I asked myself, why? My participants were asking me that. They were saying, hey, why do I have to be a people manager to be a leader? Or I'm a technical person. How does that look from a leadership perspective for me? And yet the programs that companies are putting them through still require that there are levels and there's tenure, and that just seemed like a huge disconnect. So I wanted to work on eliminating that and closing that gap. And with my current leadership thinking, we all can be in the room together. We can be learning side by side, learning from each other. And I think there's real value in that.
Okay, every company needs you in there.
Thank you.
You
I
need
hope
to be,
so.
yeah. And if you're listening right now and you're in a company, you need to get Brooke in front of your decision makers to have her speak to your organization, because you are right. There are so many people working from that old model. And if the last couple years of our pandemic has proved anything, it's just that we haven't adapted, and people are we're different now. We have different expectations. We've just changed. So, from the whole working from home thing and all that. And I've talked to many, many women from around the world who've simply stepped out and said, you know what, I want to go on my own.
Right.
But your point about those boundaries and all of that are really critical. Okay. So if Brooke is talking to you right now and you're going, yeah, that's me, you need to contact her. You need to get a copy of her book, and get several copies of her book to share around to others who you also know that are experiencing the exact same way. Beautiful gift. So Brooke, how do we get a copy of your book?
Well, my book is available on my website, which is insightpartner.com, and that's spelled INCITE. Sort of a play on words, insight action. So that's where that came from.
Perfect. Well, you are just a fountain of knowledge here. You have, I really like how you have challenged the status quo, and that you're creating change and helping people bring themselves in today and to find solutions and to make it easy. I wish you were around, or I wish I knew you when I had been going through that. I think things would have been a lot easier. Saved a
It's
lot of learning.
it's not too late, right?
It's not too late.
The road is long, right? And I think even though I've developed this model and kind of learned from the last 15 years, I'm on the journey with you. And I think that's one of the things I really want to say to anyone watching this, that I'm learning along with you. I don't stand in the front and profess to know all the answers, but I do have some learnings that I want to share, and I think it's important to share out in the world.
Okay, well then we will conclude with what are one of those things that you'd like to share, perhaps some words of wisdoms from you, Brooke.
I think what I want to leave people with is know that everything you need to know about your leadership prowess is already inside you. And spend less time looking out for answers or someone else to tell you what that is, and spend more time looking in here and finding it for yourself, and then creating a direction that really works for you.
Nice, nice. So Brooke, thank you so much for joining us today. And to everyone listening, please get your, order your copy of this book now and really dive in and get to know her. I want to thank you again. I want to thank our listeners for joining us today, and we look forward to connecting with you again on the Author Spotlight Show.
Thank you.